You know, the bottom line is I've ran a clean, honest campaign up till now, and I continue to do so. I was called basically a liar and every name in the book by Tony DeMeo on that, but I want to set the record straight. My case was denied, as this paper right here will show. The only one that has the authority to deny the case is the district attorney, and I'll let Nancy Lord talk on that, but there was some things I'll cover after she covers that concerning my arrest and what Tony said that are not true, okay. The bottom line.
Now, I have to ask this question real quickly, Nancy. Bob Beckett did not want to prosecute the case involving Mr. Holmes here, but he did appoint a prosecutor to do so. He says the charges. He says the prosecutor said the charges were legitimate.
He says but Bob Beckett said the charges were denied, and that is his right. The sheriff does not have the right to overrule the district attorney. The district attorney is a lawyer. They bring a case to the district attorney's office, and the district attorney has the right and the authority to determine whether or not it's a case that they want to move forward with. Once this case was denied, the sheriff does not have the right to say we're proceeding, and he knows that. So that makes what he said yesterday here and this morning on K9 defamatory. He said, we're proceeding with this case, it's going forward, knowing there's been a denial. That is defamation, even under the very difficult New York Times versus Sullivan standard for a public figure, because it's a falsehood and it's a malicious statement of that falsehood. It's also trade libel because it impugns and maligns Mr. Holmes in his profession as a law enforcement officer.
With that said, do you still plan on filing a malicious prosecution charges, Ted?
Well, if this goes further, I definitely will be looking at it. I've been advised by my attorney yesterday in Vegas that that is an option to file malicious prosecution if he does go forth. But there's a couple other things I want to discuss on the arrest. When you go right back to it, originally the report I was charged with two counts, one of impersonating an officer and one of resisting arrest pursuant to that later in the day when they came to my hangar and arrested me. I get the paperwork and I find 8 counts based on the same charges. Now, what's funny about that, I'm going to bring Mel Jackson in here because I want Mel Jackson to explain that was all done after the fact on this and how that works. And if I could.
My interest in this is statements I heard last night on Channel 41 by Sheriff Tony DeMeo. I believe he had some issues with us being at the Justice Center. From his tone, I don't think maybe he thought we had the right to even be in the Justice Center because he stated he's going to investigate that. But we arrived there because we received information that Ted Holmes' case had been denied, and Mr. Holmes wanted to get a denial for that, a hard copy, and he wanted to try to obtain his property, which is his badge and his wallet back. So we arrived after receiving word that that case had been dismissed and to obtain those documents. It took us all day to get that denial form, which Mr. Holmes later went to Channel 41 and did an interview and displayed on the news. That upset some local folks, but he obtained that. That decision was made prior to us arriving there. We had nothing to do with that decision. What people need to know, and what I wanted to explain, is that there was a set of events that were set in motion from the moment that Ted was arrested. That case went to the sheriff's office, then it went to the DA's office, where it sat and sat and sat. And most people in Nye County know what it is to get arrested and never see the inside of a courtroom. This is not the first time that I spoke about this. What happened to Mr. Holmes, this is election year, that his arrest took 2 months for us to find out that he wasn't charged and to find out that District Attorney Bob Beckett was in fact not going to even submit that case for prosecution. What he in fact did is he got over a special prosecutor, which was Rex Bell out of Las Vegas, and gave that case to him. Now, in the interim of that, District Attorney Bob Beckett was subsequently arrested himself, and during that same period of time, there was an incident that occurred involving Sheriff candidate Scott Cobalt's daughter. All right, and we all know about this. Well, all of that generated cases, and if you counted, at that point, there's 3 cases. Ted Holmes, that Rex Bell had, and there was 2 cases that the Sheriff Department had against Scott Cobalt's daughter and Bob Beckett. Well, and Ted has still not seen the inside of a courtroom, even though his court date arrived. He went to court. He didn't get inside that courtroom, and at that time, he was advised that the charges were NCF, meaning there was no charges filed. He was given a bail release, and he was sent on his way. Well, Mr. Holmes' concern was, how do I know what's going on with this case? Because he's still in limbo. Now, this is a man that got arrested and didn't even get an arraignment because he bailed out of jail. All right? So you get an arraignment to get a preliminary hearing to set a court date. He was not afforded that.